we all know the value of networking.
Yeah.
It's hammered into us. Can you talk about some like practical ways that people can actually do to get themselves a useful network, and explain the reasoning behind the things you've done?
Yeah. So, for instance, with networks, the most important part for me is to figure out what the other person is interested in,
Mm-hmm.
and how I can help that person achieve this. So someone might say build up favors, but it's always better to start a relationship that you've done something for another one than vice versa. And some people might say, oh, I'm not that well connected yet, so I might not be able to help the other person. But if you're not trying, you're not going to find out. And most of the times you actually can help that other person, because there's not just one interest that that person might have.
So you started off this networking journey through understanding what you can offer someone.
Exactly.
You took a look in the mirror maybe, and then said to yourself, Max, you can do this, this and this is what you can help people with. I understand you recently just finished your masters in, was it economics
Strategy
and digital strategy, but you didn't hang out with the other econ students, right?
Yeah.
You went a bit further afield. Why did you do that, and what advantage have you got from that?
Yeah. So I loved my fellow colleagues in the studies, but for me it was venturing out to a new field. I wanted to see what the computer scientists are up to, the mechanical engineers, the chemical engineers, and see what they're coming up with in their labs right now. And that's why I ventured out to these other departments, and I always hang around them to the point that I nearly got kicked out of them. But
okay.
You know, I might have had some very interesting drink conversations, because what do you want? What is a university, a place like Imperial about? It's about bringing together people from various disciplines. And right now I also see my job as connecting people like these scientists with corporations in order to do innovation together. So I try to learn about what is possible right now. To give you a recent example, for a client of ours, we were recently discussing the possibility to use innovative techniques to conquer the product identification challenge.
Okay.
As everyone knows, in the fashion business, it's very important that you can identify your products from someone else.
Okay, yeah.
One of the problems is that consumers are usually not able to do that with very high quality fakes, for instance. One of the things we were recently discussing was a new technique called quantum dots.
Quantum dots. TVs?
Like TVs. So the idea is that you use not specific materials, but the size of the dots have a certain quantum property that if you apply electric current to it, they light up in certain colors.
Okay.
So that if you, for instance, apply that to a certain material or include it in certain products, that if you would apply a current to it, let's say you rub your hands together, you apply a static to it, it would light up in certain colors. And these are innovative techniques which we, through trial and error, try to apply to these products and basically find novel ways of doing things.
The mindset of all people who you spoke to was probably very different, because you were with a lot of economy students,
Yeah.
but then you were talking to a lot of scientists, and then you were talking to a lot of engineers.
Yeah.
How is the different way that people think useful for businesses?
I think the most important part is that every new perspective is a new perspective, and you shouldn't judge it before actually having evaluated it. And you might not think it's the most cleverest idea. Sometimes innovation is actually born out of a misunderstanding. Someone misunderstood you and thinks he's doing exactly what you wanted, but he's actually doing something else, which he interpreted, but which might actually be better than your original thought. So don't shoot it down. Evaluate it first, and then see whether it's applicable to your problem.
What's your top tip for people who want to find others who can offer fresh perspectives on their business or issue?
Share your problem. Most of the times people want to have sign an NDA first and are not clear about what the problem is, so they will overwhelm the people with a range of problems where it's not clear what you actually want to solve. So most of the times we start with, innovation. First of all, it costs money, but I want to make money with it. But what actually do I want to do with it? Do you want to help my employees? Do you want to help my customers? do you want to generate revenue from it? And with the recent example of the product identification challenge, someone wants to secure their products, but furthermore actually allow customers to interact with their products. Customers to show or prove themselves that this is the real thing that they're buying. And this is a novel way of doing it. So for them, it's actually the brand what's at stake, and it's securing this brand for the long term.
Have you got anything else you'd like to share about networking?
So about networking, one of the things that's important is, let's say you start a network. Think about first who you want to meet. So in our case, it was often the head of digital innovation or someone who's responsible for a business department and actual revenue, because they have the problem in the operations. So take FTSE 100 companies, and we actually went to an event of a friend of ours, Kazendi, who organizes Startup Grind, where we said we would very much like to talk to Metrobank, Vernon Hill, who was there. And he gave us a tip before, saying you should actually talk to the speaker always before he speaks and not after. So we actually tried to seek him out and talk to Vernon before that. And I think that's one of the most valued tips we've ever been given, because everyone tries to talk to the speaker after he's with. And usually people stand around and are bored before their talks because they arrive 15 minutes early and don't know what to do with their time. So seek them out and